Toledo Rockets, an impressive win over Northern Illinois. We welcome in Pete Seymour from the Toledo Rocket Radio Network. Pete, thank you for joining us.
Mark, thanks for having me.
We'll get into this matchup with Miami in just a moment or two, but let's go back to that win Wednesday night over NIU. And that type of performance, where they dominated every aspect of the ball, is why it's been a frustrating season for so many Rocket fans, because why can't they do that every single game?
Well, Mark, I think we talked about this last week a little bit, and I said the medicine to a tough road loss for the Toledo Rockets this year, well, what is it? Get back to the Glass Bowl and absolutely dominate an opponent, and that's exactly what they did from start to finish against the Northern Illinois Huskies. Still has blown my mind this year. Really haven't seen a Toledo Rockets season like this so far since I've been a part of this, but hey, can't complain. They are just killing it at home right now.
Tucker Gleason over 300 yards passing against NIU, and that snapped like a 34-game streak where the Huskies had not allowed anybody to throw for 300 or more.
Yeah, that's a season high for Tucker Gleason. He continues to move up the ranks in Toledo quarterback history. Really good for him. And this past week, the offensive line really stepped up in a big way. But yeah, going back to that stat, 34 in a row. For that NIU secondary, a really good secondary, one of the best-ranked secondaries in the conference behind Toledo. And just with the teams they played, even this year, some SEC teams, Mississippi State, none of these teams would get over 300 yards passing on them, and Tucker Gleason and the Rockets did it quite easily.
You mentioned the offensive line. Part of the key to Tucker Gleason throwing for over 300 yards, he stayed upright, he stayed clean that entire game.
Absolutely. No sacks, not even a pressure. And when you give this kid room to throw and a lane to throw, he has a very high completion percentage. It's what I asked Coach after the game, Mark, and that's exactly what he told me. He said, you give Tucker Gleason lanes to throw, you get him in a rhythm, and you do that early, he's so dangerous, and that proved true.
So now the Rockets hit the road. They've not won a road game this season, and now they go down to Oxford to take on a very, very familiar quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. Really fun to have conversations this past week about DQ. Being in Toledo, I talked to Coach Robert Wiener, obviously his former quarterbacks coach, current quarterback coach, Tucker Gleason's actual high school coach, and asked him about that this past week, and he said, you know, me and DQ, if I were to see him on the street somewhere, it's all smiles, it's all hugs, but this is Miami versus Toledo, and that storyline in itself says enough. None of the guys in this locker room are thinking this is anything against Dequan Finn. This is the Rockets versus the Red Hawks. I can't wait for it, Mark. And the one thing that still blows my mind about this season so far, this is the number 2 ranked defense in the FBS. Vince Karras' defense is only behind Ohio State, and they are just playing phenomenal right now. I mean, yeah, at home they've been a little bit better, but even on the road, it's a stout defense, and they're going to have to use that defense to stop a really good and very familiar quarterback in Dequan Finn, like you said, Mark.
Right. One of the new stats that is gaining traction with defense is the stop rate. How many times you literally stop the opposing team from scoring. How many times you force a punt, a 3-and-out, or turnover on downs. What your stop rate is. And Toledo is number 2 in the nation in that category. And when I asked Eshawn Carter about that, he's like, well, we don't pay attention to that type of stuff. Yet at the same time, it is a very impressive way that the Rocket defense has played this season.
Yeah, these are absolutely eye-popping numbers. I mean, you look at NIU's offense, hasn't been great all year passing, but this is a very good rushing attack. Two-headed monster. They rushed for over 300 yards against Ball State the week before. What were they? I think they were under 70 against the Rockets. No, this defense, starting with the secondary and the linebackers, and if you remember all the way back at the beginning of the year, we said, you know, the one question mark on this team could be that linebacking core, and as we've moved forward, Mark, they're becoming a strong suit. Kavion Sherman is just really good, sideline to sideline, coming downhill, laying the boom on some of these running backs. Chris Apollonia right next to him. Defensive line stepping up in a big way, but again, a massive test this week in a Miami offense that hasn't been great out of conference, but they've been really good in conference play.
Absolutely, but it is a Miami offense that is coming off a loss, as Ohio did knock off Miami 2 straight times. Ohio's beat Miami. That's big for the Battle of the Bricks. And as we talked about last week, for Toledo against Detroit, they needed a lot of help. They needed to take care of their own business. They did that by beating Northern Illinois, and they did get at least one of those things that we believe is going to help, is Ohio beat Miami, giving the Red Hawks their first league loss. And if Toledo can take care of business on Wednesday, gives Miami a second league loss, and Toledo have the tiebreaker over the Red Hawks.
Yeah, again, a lot of things have to happen. Right now, situation's out of the Rockets' control. They gave that up earlier in the year, I would say, to that tough loss against Western Michigan. But hey, You keep winning, you never know what happens in the Mid-American Conference. That doesn't just go for football. That goes for a lot of sports. And, Mark, you just never know. So the Rockets, business as usual against the Red Hawks this week. Then you hope for some help and hope you can get it. But they play anything like they did last week, and if they can pull that off at Miami, boy, it would be huge for this season.
And the other thing that Jason Candle is hoping for, smooth transportation issues. As he pointed out this year, they've had 4 road trips. They've had like bus trouble on 3 out of those 4. So hopefully, logistically, everything goes smoothly on that trip down to Oxford Tuesday night, as they'll play Wednesday night against the Red Hawks. I want to thank Pete Seymour for joining us from the Rocket Radio Network.
Mark, thanks for having me. Go Rockets. Can't wait for it.